Hello, and welcome back to the William Gomez podcast. I am William Gomez, and I'm grateful to have you here. This series is called Reading Seminar 1 and 2, Lacan's Return to Freud Revisited. In the previous episode, we reconsidered resistance and saw how Jacques Lacan relocates it from a defect in the patient to a structural effect of the analytic situation itself. Resistance, we saw, is not an obstacle to be removed, but a signal that analysis is touching its limits. In this episode, we turn to another concept that is often misunderstood in similar ways: transference. Few terms in psychoanalysis are as familiar, and few are as frequently misinterpreted. Transference is often described as the patient's feelings toward the analyst, as an emotional bond, attachment, or dependency that develops over the course of treatment. While these descriptions capture something that can occur in analysis, they miss what Lacan insists is essential. For Lacan, transference is not primarily a relationship, it is a structure. To see why this matters, we need to return briefly to Sigmund Freud's original insight. Freud recognized that patients often relate to the analyst as though the analyst were someone from their past. Feelings, expectations, and demands are displaced onto the analytic figure. Freud treated this displacement as both an obstacle and a resource. Transference could obstruct analysis by intensifying resistance, but it could also be used as the very medium through which unconscious conflicts were replayed and interpreted. Lacan accepts this insight, but he reformulates it in a decisive way. Rather than treating transference as a psychological bond between two individuals, Lacan treats it as an effect of the analytic situation itself. It arises not because of who the analyst is as a person, but because of the position the analyst occupies. This position is not personal, it is structural. In analysis, the analyst occupies a place in the analyze and speech. They are addressed as someone who is presumed to know something about what the analysand says, even when neither party knows exactly what that knowledge would be. This presumption is not a conscious belief. It is an effect of speaking in a situation where speech is listened to in a particular way. Transference, in this sense, is produced by the act of address. They analyze and speaks to an other whose responses are not predictable, whose silence is not indifference, and whose interventions do not aim at reassurance or guidance. This creates a structural gap. Into this gap, expectations, demands, and meanings are projected. What is crucial here is that transference does not depend on emotional warmth, empathy, or relational closeness. It can occur even in the absence of overt feeling. Conversely, strong emotions do not necessarily indicate transference in the analytic sense. They may belong to the imaginary register, which we will explore in later episodes. This distinction allows Lacan to critique relational models of analysis. When transference is treated primarily as a relationship, the analyst is tempted to manage it. They may try to reduce dependency, encourage autonomy, or repair attachment patterns. From Lacan's perspective, this attempt misunderstands the function of transference. Transference is not something that can be controlled without undermining analysis itself. It is constitutive of the analytic situation. It arises as soon as the speech is addressed to an other presumed to listen differently. Attempts to manage transference psychologically often amount to attempts to neutralize it. They aim to restore balance or clarity where analysis requires uncertainty. This is why Lacan insists that the analyst must not respond to transference at the level of the person. The analyst does not return affection, offer reassurance, or clarify the relationship. To do so would collapse the structural function of transference into a personal exchange. Instead, the analyst maintains a position that allows transference to operate as a motor of analysis. This position is not cold or distant, it is precise. The analyst allows the analysand's speech to unfold even when it becomes demanding, idealizing, hostile, or disappointed. These movements are not treated as relational problems to be solved, but as effects to be listened to. This also clarifies why transference cannot be eliminated. Some therapeutic models aim to resolve transference so that a more realistic relationship can emerge. For Lacan, this aim misunderstands the nature of analysis. There is no analysis without transference. To remove transference would be to remove the very structure that makes analytic speech possible. This does not mean that analysis aims to maintain transference indefinitely. It means that transference must be worked through structurally, not managed emotionally. Working through transference does not mean explaining it to the analyst and or reassuring them about the analyst's intentions. It means allowing the analyst to encounter how their speech is organized around the place of the other. This encounter is not comfortable. It often produces frustration, confusion, or disappointment. But these effects are not failures. They indicate that the subject is encountering something structural rather than personal. This brings us back to the ethical dimension of Lacan's approach. If transference is structural, then the analyst bears a significant responsibility. They must resist the temptation to occupy the place of authority, wisdom, or care in a personal sense. They must not confirm the analyst's fantasies about who the analyst is or what they want. Instead, the analyst sustains a position that allows transference to reveal how desire, demand, and knowledge are structured in the subject's speech. In this way, transference becomes not a relationship to be managed, but a function that makes analysis possible. In the next episode, we will examine how this understanding of transference transforms the notion of interpretation. We will see why Lacan insists that interpretation is not explanation, but an act that intervenes in speech at a precise moment. Thank you for listening. This is the William Gomes podcast. Take care of yourself, stay curious, and if you found this episode helpful, you're very welcome to follow, share, leave a comment, or a rating. I'll speak with you again soon.